What's up, friends? It's Friday night. Is it Friday night, friends? What day of the week is this? Corporal Stevens, is today Saturday? Friends, I told you, friends, we had a fun night. We had a real fun night, friends. I can't get into all the details, and I'm not going to. Friends, I told you, you can't doubt the sergeant major. Friends, don't you dare ever doubt me, friends. Friends, I just got a call. I got a call from one of my old spiritual mentors. Oh, my goodness. Tommy Shannon called to me tonight, everybody. Hey, Tommy. Oh, friend. Tommy. I'm so glad you called, my brother. Friends, Tommy Shannon agrees 100% what the hell's going on. He's like one of my biggest fans, everybody. Look, everybody, we're going to Tachi's church on Sunday. Friends, we're going to the Brandon Christian Fellowship Church. And I told Tommy, if Richie's okay with it, I'd like to just start mowing the property there. I mean, they don't have to pay me no money. Friends, right here tomorrow, we're going to be back at the estate sale. Oh my gosh, friends, it's dark. Friends, hold on. We're riding back to the campsite, friends. I had a action-packed night, everybody. A very spiritual, non-perverted, action-packed night, everyone. So, friends, Tommy Shannon called me tonight, and this lady that was once my mother, well, she threatened me a couple weeks ago, and she says, "We don't like what you're doing. I reached out to Tommy and Richie Shannon, and they're gonna call you and tell you to leave the sheriff alone." well, lady. Richie and Tommy Shannon agree with everything that I've said in all my live streams. They said that they're like my biggest fans. Friends, Tommy said it best. He says Jesus is coming back any day, friends. Any day Jesus is coming back, friends. We're in the end times the last time. Friends, Tommy and Richie Shannon were the two most righteous Hillsborough County Sheriff's detective and sergeant, and he was a master sergeant, the Richie. Friends, I learned Jesus in their church in 1993. That's when the Lord Jesus entered my heart, everybody. But then, I got a little older and I hung out with some bad folks. Friends, and then I went to the war, friends. The war really, friends, the war is all demonic. It's all the devil. But I told Tommy, I hadn't talked to Richie yet. I'm going to see Richie on Sunday. Friends, if you want to go to church with the humble sergeant major, I can't go to Bell Shoals any longer, friends. Bell Shoals is just too clean and put together for me, friends. It ain't going to work out for what I'm trying to do. Friends, if I brought some homeless folks that I've been hanging out with, if I scooted them all up in the Bell Shoals, they'd probably tell all of us to get on out of there. Friends, it's the Brandon Christian Fellowship, friends. Friends, it's a non-denominational church. And friends, I always had the understanding that it was my father, Ronald Messer Sr., that introduced Jesus to Richie and Tommy Shannon. But for some reason, my mother had it backwards. She says, "Oh, no, it wasn't your father. They introduced Jesus to him." But Tommy confirmed it tonight, friends. My father, who's up in heaven now, my real father, my biological father, he's the one that taught the Richies and the Shannon brothers about Jesus. And they went on to create the Brandon Christian Fellowship Church. And friends, I'm going there on Sunday. We're going to be there. And with Richie's permission, I'm going to start mowing the property, friends. And, he don't have to pay me. But if he would like to do a contribution to the ministry, friends, I'm a 501c3, and I'll get you a nice tax-exempt Mr. Richie. Friends, these two brothers were Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies. And when I would go around, I'll do my peaceful protest. And friends, I don't do that no longer. It's too dangerous. I would give all these DEI soldiers the dressing down. I'd say, "Hey, DEI soldier, you know who Tommy and Richie Shannon were? They were the most righteous deputies, the most righteous detectives, the most righteous, master sergeants." And nobody knows them, friends. Everybody forgot. And friends, I talked to Tommy for a little while on the phone tonight. My friend Crunkster, they know all about the Crunkster. They know he's a billionaire. He's a phony baloney. He's a girly man. And detective, you perverted girly man detective, I know you're watching right now, because you're watching all my live streams. I got your name right over here, buddy. I put it in my Green Leaders book. And Tommy Shannon was a homicide detective, and I told him about what you did to me, and I told him how you had all the pleasure, and I told him how you had the perfect bleached teeth, and I told you even the detention deputies know you, and they don't like you, and they don't like what you did, and they don't like what you've done, and they know you work there with your wife, and they know that y'all are perverted. But listen, friends, Tommy did call me tonight. Oh, I told you, friends. Oh, his wonderful wife was in the background, and friends, I can't wait. They got to go out of town, but friends, hold on, friends. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble out of y'all. Friends, we're all going to go out to dinner on Wednesday. Friends, listen to me. I'll be very clear, friends. Friends, when Tommy called me, I was literally out to dinner with a friend. And I was terrified because my mother, this lady, friends, this witch of a lady, she threatened me. She says, "I reached out to Tommy and Richie Shannon. They're going to call you. You need to knock all this stuff off. Knock it off. We don't quit you doing." Well, I told you, friends, if you're following the devil, he ain't gonna like nothing that Sgt Grizzlegrits has ever done. I mean, when I got spiritual, everybody. But friends, I told you I had a nice talk with Tommy, and he was on the phone, and I let my friend heard it all. My friend's trying to figure out what the hell's going on too. Friends, we can't figure it out. Friends, it's a spiritual battle for the last time. It's good versus evil. And friends, Tommy said it best. He says, we're in the end times. Jesus is on the way. He's like, I'm so glad, Ronnie. I'm so glad you blossomed into the godly man we all knew you were. Friends, I was in a play back in 1994 or 93, and I played the blind man, and we did a play at the Richie and Tommy Shannon's church, the Brandon Christian Fellowship. Friends, it's off Parsons Road. And friends, I didn't know this, but Richie literally, well, I would say he's my neighbor, but I'm never going back to the home that I bought for my family. I told you, I got run out of there. Friends, Richie lives off Giles Road. He lives like literally right around there. I mean, we've been neighbors for like the longest time, but we never knew. That's okay, Mr. Richie. I'm gonna see you on Sunday, and if with your blessing, I'd love to mow your property. I got the John Deere tractor. Oh, I can't go get it, Mr. Richie. Master Sergeant Richie, I can't mow your property until after court on January the 12th because I can't go back to the home, and I ain't gonna dare reach out to any family member because it's a trap, friends. It's a damn trap. I told you, friends, that lady that was once a mother, a good godly mother, that lady reached out to me today because I know the coals of shame, friends. I told you those coals of shame are hot. The coals of shame are hot all over your head when you do all the perversions. Oh, friends, I gotta go back. Friends, my lady friend over here, she's got a yard sale tomorrow. Friends, I'm getting up early and we're gonna hit the garage sales. I hit the yard sales. Friends, I can't go to my home because this petitioner, well, she petitioned all the evil, friends. And it's backfired on them. Friends, it backfired on y'all. Y'all thought I was gonna get vengeful and get angry, but I told you, I'm just gonna let y'all just simmer. Y'all just simmer around with all them coals of shame. Y'all just sit there with all the shame on your head, Corporal Stevens. I'm gonna allow y'all just to simmer, and let the coals of shame just wash all over your perverted heads for what y'all did. Friends, I got a stinking ankle bracelet on my ankle, friends. But I'm not mad, friends. I'm not upset. I know my family and the petitioner, they're falling, everybody. They're falling. Pull over here, Corporal Stevens. Friends, when you're not godly, the devil's gonna trick you. And the devil tricked all these folks. And they thought they were gonna have the last laugh on the old Sgt Grizzlegrits. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh, lady, you thought you were gonna call and reach out to Tommy and Richie Shannon. And you thought, oh, they were sheriff's deputies. And we love the Crunkster. So they're gonna give Ronnie an all at that for it. Oh, how dare you, Ronnie? You better not talk about the Crunkster in the manner that you have. Oh, no. Friends, Tommy's watched all my videos, and he was like talking to a celebrity on the phone. Oh, Tommy, I can't wait to hang out with you. I can't wait to see TJ. I'm so sorry that happened. Friends, I can't get into the family business, but they had a tragedy, everybody. But it was on God's plans for the last time, you know. Friends, I used to wonder why the tragedy happened to the family. I mean, TJ's alive, friends, but the guy's not. He'll never be the same. Friends, sometimes God allows some really nasty stuff to happen to you. And you could be the most righteous sheriff's deputy or the most righteous brother, the most righteous brothers. Friends, you don't get no more righteous than Richie and Tommy Shannon, friends. I mean, friends, I can't say these men are blameless. They're not like Mr. Job. Mr. Job, friends, y'all gotta go read Mr. Job if y'all don't know who Mr. Job is. But friends, Richie and Tommy Shannon are like literally the closest things to Mr. Job. I can't say they're blameless. But these are the two most righteous brothers that I've ever known in my life, friends. They had a little church, and they still do. I can't wait to go on Sunday, friends. I just can't wait. I can't wait. I'm done with you, Bell Shoals Baptists. Y'all are just too clean for the Sgt Grizzlegrits. It wouldn't work out. And friends, I don't know. I had a lady correct me one day. I said, God will only give you as much as you can handle. And the lady got real snarky with me, and she corrected me. And then that's when I knew that it might be time to find a new church, friends. We're not going to Bell Shoals. We're going to the Richie Shannon church, friends. Friends, it's the Brandon Christian Fellowship, friends. And with Richie's permission, I'm going to start mowing the property, friends. Friends, they had a big old tree that fell down last year in that hurricane, and I almost went out there and just started getting to work on it. Friends, I should have just done it. All right, friends, we're almost at the campsite. But look, Mom. Holy smokes, Mom. Oh, the lady. I don't even want to call the lady a mom. Look, lady, I forgive you, but I want nothing to do with you. You can just mark this in your little. I don't know where you mark it, but this will be like the third family that you've destroyed. I don't know why you're getting so good at just destroying all your children's families. It's horrible. What the hell does that say there? I can't figure it out, friends. Friends, when I became a parent, the last thing I ever wanted to do was to cause due harm and stress on my children. Oh, no. Where the hell is it? Okay. Hold on, everybody. Oh, friends, I might be sleeping in the truck. Oh, I'm not, friends. There it is. Friends, I told Tommy Shannon what the hell's going on. He completely understood. He understands, friends. He understands his spiritual battle. Friends, it's almost like God told the Richie and the Tommy Shannon brothers, like that Ronnie Messer was picked a long time ago, but they weren't allowed to tell me. Friends, sometimes that happens, you know. Hold on, what the hell's this receipt? Friends, I'm so blown away that Tommy Shannon reached out to me tonight, friends. He was the bass player. He still plays bass, friends, and I play drums. Oh, we're getting the band back together, friends. We're going to get the band back together. Friends, you got to surround yourself by godly people. Don't you dare go hang out with the perverted family members that they only care about their earthly treasures, their earthly reputation, their nice jobs, their nice business banker jobs, their nice... friends, what the hell's fantasy football for the last time? Friends, I still don't know what the hell my brothers did for work, friends. They had some superficial job. They got business banker degrees, or no business degrees, master business degrees. I don't know, friends. I got no use for y'all. And when the power goes out, what are you going to do? You going to come up with a contract so we can... what the hell y'all going to do? I told you, I already got enough people stirring the poo-poo pot. I don't need no more girly men to do the poo-poo pot. That duty, friends, I got like a thousand, my duty roster is like 1,000 deep, friends. Friends, what the hell y'all going to do? So, friends, here's the plan for tomorrow, friends. Friends, we're going to get up. I'm going to go to my nice emporium, my yard sale emporium, gentlemen. I need to find some tools, friends. I told you, all my tools are locked up at my home, but I don't dare, friends. I don't dare. I'm not going to go to jail for another... Friends, if I get another violation, I'll be gone for a year. Friends, it's just the way it is, friends. But check it out, everybody. I'm going to go to the yard sale emporium, and I'm going to get me a flat... Friends, they all got the tools. They got everything, friends. I'm going to get a couple rakes. I might get a weed whacker, friends. You could always use an extra one. Friends, I need to get a flathead shovel. Friends, we got to clean up some more cemeteries. And friends, I believe it or not, everybody, there's a cemetery that literally escaped right under my nose. It's off Bloomingdale Avenue, friends. And friends, we're just going to cruise up in there tomorrow. And we're just going to get to work, everybody. I'm not even going to ask for no permission. But friends, I'm going to leave my business card. Oh, hold on, friends. I need to get in the campsite. Friends, I told you, if you want me to come clean up your cemetery, I mean, if it's less than 5 acres, I'll just charge you $100 a month, friends. That way I can just have some fuel for the John Deere. Hold on, everybody. Friends, unlike these... Friends, I gotta be careful, because we're not supposed to meet evil with evil. Friends, these people that used to be my family, all they care about is their money. Like Mr. Krabs in the SpongeBob. All they care is about their perverted reputations. I don't ever see them out there doing no godly work, friends. That's all evil. That's okay, friends. It ain't for me to judge. Friends, what do you think? I'm growing my hair out. Friends, my friend tonight couldn't almost recognize me because I've literally lost like 30 pounds since the last time my friend saw me. I told you, friends, it's so cool. It's so cool to have someone that actually talks to you and listens to you and understands you, friends. That's as far as I'm gonna go. But look, friends, it was a cool night, and I got to talk to Tommy Shannon. I'm just blown away. Tommy, good Lord Jesus, help us, Lord. Tommy understands we're in the end times. Tommy understands a lot of things. Uh-oh, what the hell's that light over there? Friends, I think I got a UFO in front of me. Hold on, friends, what the hell's that light over there? Oh, it might be the sheriff's helicopter, friends. I don't know. Look, friends, we're going to the campsite, and maybe we'll goof off a little while, friends. I'm just, friends, friends, I'm having the stinking time of my life. If y'all can't tell, friends. I'm on bond. I got an ankle monitor, track everywhere I'm going. I got the perverted, unqualified Hillsborough County Sheriff and the Cronkster himself out to get me, everyone. But you can't get a good soldier down. I keep trying to explain that to you. I told Tommy how y'all threw me in jail, you perverted sheriff. I said the Cronkster got me thrown in jail, and all I did was I prayed with men, we fellowshipped, and I had my time of my life. And I said, Tommy. I always kidded around about the cornbread, but I literally got to eat some of that cornbread. And I told you, friends, I don't want to test my luck with this perverted, unqualified sheriff's department. But friends, if I got to go back and spend another week in jail, I'm gonna relish the cornbread, friends. I might trade a tray for some cornbread. Friends, when you do a tray for soup, that means you're gonna give up your tray of food so you can get some soup. Or maybe you got some soup for a tray, friends. That's what it is. This is soup for a tray. Friends, you get sick and tired of eating the same garbage every night. But I told you, that cornbread. Give me your cornbread. Friends, nobody gonna take my cornbread. Friends, hold on, break character. Friends, when these people, listen to me. Hold on, let me turn this around. Friends, I was literally like the only veteran in there. I was the only veteran, and like, I don't know if these guys thought I was like a special forces guy. I mean, I've slimmed down a lot, friends, and I kind of got my muscles popping out. But friends, when I was in jail, when I was incarcerated over this week, friends, like everybody found out I was a combat veteran. And then when I told like one guy that I was doing the peaceful protest, and like friends, somebody knew me in there. And then the story was that he was out there with his full body armor, with his assault rifle, protesting the sheriff. Friends, I mean, I was like the biggest gangsta in there. Friends, I'm talking about 7 Charlie. I was on 7 Charlie open ward. It was the open bay, friends, for the men. But friends, it's all about respect in these places. If you show a little respect and you show a little, friends, if you walk with a little bit of authority and you show respect, well, you're going to get that respect. I mean, Tommy, how did they make the cornbread? What did they put in that cornbread? It was so delicious, friends. I mean, I don't want to have to go back in there. Please, I don't want to test my luck with this horrible sheriff. But that cornbread was something else, friends. I mean, friends, you don't really know what's for dinner until you open the lid of your tray. And it was the cornbread, friends, and I told you, it was... Friends, I can't... I hope y'all never have to go in there and eat the cornbread. But if you do, friends, that's like the one little... friends, that's like the one little gift you... Friends, I told you, I'm out in the... All right, everybody, hold on now. Hold on. Let's go over and have a little counseling real quick. Hold on now. Oh, that cornbread was delicious. Friends, hold on, everybody. Come on, let's go. Oh. Okay, we're back, friends. Friends, every time I leave the campsite, I always turn the water off, friends. Friends, in this line of work, there's a good possibility that I might not come back here. There's a good possibility that this perverted, unqualified sheriff may send one of his demons to come scoop me up for another fake. Friends, please, you know, I made some phone calls, and we just need to stop the social media. You know, they're looking out for you. We're looking out for you, and we made some calls on your behalf. But friends, that ain't what happened. Friends, Tommy called me and he said, "Oh my gosh, don't stop what you're doing. Just be careful." He goes, "These people they're not sheriff's deputies." He goes, "We don't know what they are." Friends, I'm gonna tell you something. This is the damn true story. Tommy Shannon just told me that he and Richie were both subjected to hostile work environments. Friends, they told me that like literally a couple years ago, the Hillsborough County Sheriff, under the perverted leadership of the Cronkster, well, they started coming after the Christians, friends. They came after the Christians. Look, friends, I told you, in the end times, the Christians will be persecuted. That's my ankle bracelet, friends. I told you. I need to show y'all what the hell right and wrong looks like. So y'all can watch me go clean up a cemetery on the GPS tracker. And then you can go watch me have dinner with a friend. Folks, friends, I ain't scared of y'all. Y'all are scared of me. Because you're scared of the Holy Spirit, friends. The Holy Spirit. Hold on, friends. I must clean my mansion, friends. I tell you. Kind, Lord, you're just too generous. Friends, look at it. Friends, there's no bickering. There's no quarreling. I ain't got a loony lady screaming and hollering and calling the sheriff every 10 minutes. Friends, there's no expertise in here. There's no injunction violations, because there's no injunctions, friends. This is the real deal. Friends, we just gotta pray. We gotta pray for all these folks, friends. They're fallen. I mean, friends, when you're fallen, friends. But friends, I couldn't believe it. Tommy told me that he and his brother, the most righteous. Friends, hold on now. Friends, I would never bestow. Friends, I would never bestow the title of the most righteous brothers on just anybody, friends. But the Tommy and the Richie Shannon, friends, friends, you're gonna have to go in the Bible and look up the apostles to get even close, friends, to the Richie Tommy, the righteousness, friends. In retirement because of the white Christian. It's all the white Christian men, friends. But friends, if you're fallen and you're not following Jesus, and you want to run to the courts and do all the evil, well, friends, you're not going to understand these things. You're just going to say, you. Well, you can just you yourself straight to the eternal fire for all I care. But I do care. I need y'all to get righteous for less than a time. All right, look, friends, we got a big day tomorrow. We're going to have to get, friends, I get up at like 7 in the morning, friends. I try to sleep in, friends, but these walls, friends, this is going to be a chilly night. I'm out of propane. And I lied to my friend. I was like, oh, no, I'm a soldier. I said, I got homeless soldiers sleeping in the dirt in Ybor City. I think I can manage in my mansion here. I mean, friends, look at this mansion. Friends, I was literally sleeping in the back of my truck like 2 weeks ago. But the Lord always provides. Oh, I told you, friends, I even got I got the Starlink. Friends, I got no complaints. And even if I was to complain, ain't nobody gonna listen to my complaints. So, friends, we're going to get up. I already got the coffee. Friends, the coffee's already prepped. Friends, we're going to go to the yard sale emporium. I'm going to look for a couple flathead shovels. I need a rake. Maybe some work for the live streams friends. And then, friends, I told you I found another cemetery. Friends, I can't believe I forgot about the cemetery. It's literally right off Bloomingdale. So we're going to mosey in there, we're going to do a police call, we're going to clean up some of the debris. I got to let the church know what they're in for if they want to hire us, friends. But it's not a hire, friends, it's a donation. Friends, I'll come clean your cemetery up. You just ease on over to the grizzlyarmy.com and you just put a nice little donation, friends. It's called the cemetery. I'm not running. Are we live? This thing keeps messing up. Friends, I'm not running a business, I'm running a ministry. And I clean cemeteries up, friends. This is what I do. I know I'm a weirdo. But I don't hang in the bars anymore, friends. I sold my Harley like, 2 or 3 years ago. Oh my goodness, why is this not working? Oh my, friends, I got so much good going on. Friends, I forgot to tell you, I ran into an old E7 at the National Guard, friends. I ran into him tonight too. I can't tell you where I was at, friends. Friends, some things I can't tell y'all. Not yet, friends. I can't tell you everything. But friends, I ran into an old battle buddy, and I hadn't seen the guy literally since I retired. And that was like 2019. I left the Guard, and he told me, friends, how perverted it got. He told me how all the transgender soldiers, that's why I had to get the hell out of the Guard. Oh, Lieutenant Bieber, you perverted girly man. I heard you made major. Of course you did. You weren't up for the task when you were my platoon leader. You were a girly man, and you lacked confidence. And I tried to help you out, sir, but there's only so much I could do. You didn't give me a lot to work with. So I heard you made rank pretty quickly in the Joe Biden administration. Yeah, I know, friends, I know. It's a nightmare. But it was Sergeant First Class Perantu, friends. Perantu! He's an AGR soldier. He's an active Guard reserve. What the hell's going on here, friends? I don't know what's going on with my Starlink. I think I need to move it around a little bit. I don't know, friends. Maybe if we start the computer. Oh my gosh, friends. I mean, good grief. Give me a break. But anyways, friends, we're going to go. And I need to get some tools because I can't go to my home, friends. And I'm not even going to call the sheriff. I'm not even going to risk nothing, friends. These people are not, friends, I told you these people are not sheriff's deputies. Friends, our country's been invaded for the last time. But a lot of y'all just want to keep your head in the sand so y'all can have your drunkardness and go watch your football. Oh, Lord Jesus. Who's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing on Sunday? Is Mike Evans, is he still on the injury roster? What's going on with him? So, friends, we're going to get up. We're going to get our coffee rolling. And, friends, I only ate inches. All right, friends, we got to restart the computer. I don't know what the hell's going on here. And friends, a supporter told me if I don't put the old tire back on, I risk blowing up the differential, friends. The other tire's a little bigger, friends. And friends, the guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. So, friends, we plugged up the tire today. We went over to the wall and we put some air in it, everybody. But I got to do a little soapy water, friends. If it's doing some bubbles, then the plug didn't hold. Corporal Stevens, why is this computer not working? I mean, we got the Starlink hooked up, right? Don't we? So look, friends, we're gonna mosey on to the Bloomingdale Cemetery. Friends, I forgot all about the cemetery. We're gonna go in there. And friends, it has a lot of oak trees, so I know there's gonna be some branches that need to be picked up. So we're just gonna ease in there and scoop it up. I'll spend a couple hours in there just cleaning. And maybe someone from the church will come by and I could talk to him, friends. Friends, I am looking for some work. So if you want me to come clean your property up, friends, it has to be a cemetery, friends, for the 501c3. Because if I come mow your yard, then I could be, well, it'd be like some tax evasion, friends. And I don't want no trouble out of the sheriff or the federal government any longer, friends. Friends, when I told Tommy Shannon that I sued the horrible perverted federal government, I think he was doing this. He was so happy because he don't like it either, friends. I mean, we just don't like these things. We're Christians. We got a lot of tolerance, but we don't got no tolerance for no stinking evil. Friends, I don't know what the hell's going on with this computer. I mean, it's like frozen now. Patience. Patience is a virtue. My friends, I've been doing some healing. I got back in the cemetery today at Seffner, and I got to see my old friends. I was so happy I got to see them. And I called Mr. Anthony Sabatini, the lawyer. Oh, my goodness, friends. What the hell's going on with this thing? I left the lawyer a message. I talked to the Esquire lawyer. Now, friends, I just got a lot of lawyers going on. I don't want to have to call the family lawyer guy. Not yet, friends. We'll just have to see what happens on the 12th. Friends, I have a very, very, very funny feeling that this horrible injunction is just probably going to get tossed out, friends. I'm not making no threats, please, you perverted detective. I know you're watching. And those are some weak tattoos on that. Friends, the guy's got all this pagan garbage, like Aztec nonsense. He don't have an ounce of creativity in him. I got your name, buddy. I wrote it down. Friends, the detective that threw me in jail on Monday, he had so much pleasure. Because he can't be a grizzly man. He's a girly, perverted man. And I asked him what his name was, and he wouldn't tell me. And I said, well, come on, are you a deputy? He goes, I'm a detective. And then I said, did you do all your coursework, or did you have the Kronkster cheat and lie and steal for you? I told you, friends, these people just don't know what to do with the grizzly man. So they keep throwing me in jail and putting ankle bracelets on me, friends. That's fine. Y'all don't scare me at all. I was the guy in the back of the Chinook helicopter when it was literally crashing on a hard landing in the war, friends. That was Afghanistan. And I was the guy back there with the video camera recording it all. I couldn't believe it, friends. We almost died so many times. Listen up, you girly men detective. I was the guy carrying the heaviest machine gun. I mean, the 240 Bravo. And I got nicer teeth than you do, buddy. Look at this. I'm class 1 dental. I know you've had some cavities because you're indisciplined. You probably eat you eat a little sugar on your cheat days. Friends, the guy's in the gym all the time. He's so insecure. I gotta get fit. I gotta look like a cop. What a girly man. Perverted. But I got your name, buddy. I got your name. I'm gonna start my background investigation in you in the morning. You're gonna violate me for a bunch of nonsense. I didn't violate my order, everybody's what I'm telling you. And then I demanded the detective show me. Friends, the guy's like 24 years. He's like 26 or 27. But friends, I demanded to see why he violated me. He pulled up the text I sent my mother-in-law, and it was, I'm so sorry. I love you and the family. I wish this hadn't happened. But something about the lady needing help, friends, and that's what he violated me for. Oh, friends, I told you, it's weak. Oh, cool, here's my friend.
This is going up Sky Ride at Stone Mountain Park.
Hold on, friends, I met this guy at Stone Mountain.
5 feet tall. The mountain's 1,683 feet above sea level. That is Stone Mountain Lake. You're looking out there.
Friends, this guy's named James Tingley, and I met him like last week when I was up there, friends. Friends, this guy used to work at Stone Mountain, and he gave me like a pass. Oh my gosh, what's the date? Oh, it expires today. Friends, I met this man. He was really cool. We hung out for like an hour, friends. Let's see what he's got to say.
And that's looking towards Atlanta, and that's the Laser Lawn area. Let's see. Look at all those little trees just barely surviving on that rock. I don't know how they do it.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy. That's the tower on top. I climbed that before. Copy that. All right. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, this is on the top of Stone Mountain. This is a friend of mine doing the videos.
Friends, this guy makes these. They're your phone holders, friends. So when you go hiking, friends, the guy gave truck friends. Friends, this guy's cool. I mean, he's one of the coolest, realest dudes. And he saw my graphics.
Feet tall. That antenna is Channel 8 tower. That is one of the tallest LED Christmas.
All right, look, friends, we're gonna log it off. The internet ain't working. Y'all have a good night.